Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nicholas Johnston. I'm the publisher of Axios Today. Thank you for joining us here for, I think it's our third day of programming. It all blends together. Huge thanks to Qualcomm House for hosting us this entire week. We're very grateful for their support. We're grateful that you all joined us today, and we're hugely grateful for all of our partners that have made an entire week of programming here on the Promenade possible. So huge thanks to Pinterest for making today's conversation possible on the real impacts of the online world. So I'm very excited to kick us off with a view from the top conversation with Pinterest Chief Legal Officer and Business Affairs Officer, Wanji Walcott. Wanji, welcome to the Axios stage. Great to see you again. This is a fun time to talk about social media. It's an interesting time. TikTok was around and then banned and then not banned and then Elon's X is always fun. Tell me a little bit of where you see Pinterest.
So you were spot on. There's been a lot of activity, so it is just a really interesting time. We have been described as the golden retriever.
All right, we're going to go deeper on that.
In this space. And think about when you think of a golden retriever, it conjures up many positive things, but that's really how people are thinking about us. That's how we're viewing ourselves.
Well, I mean, can't leave it like there. Like, keep digging into what it really means to be a golden retriever on the internet.
Retriever? So what it means to be a golden retriever on the internet in this space is that during this time where we've seen just a lot of toxicity, a lot of negativity, we're really striving to be that positive place on the internet. And we're also really focused on our users. Our largest and growing demographic that we have is Gen Z. And we're really very thoughtful about youth mental health and ensuring positive outcomes. And so I'll cite to a study that we did with Berkeley University in 2023, where we took a group of students during a very stressful time, exam time, and asked them to spend just 10 minutes on Pinterest. And it was reported that after spending those 10 minutes, that the positive feeling that they had and the kind of stress was brought down and everyone just felt more positive. That really kind of signaled for us that we are onto something and that there is a way to differentiate ourselves kind of in this interesting time.
So how do you lean into that aspiration? If you have this kind of data, like, are there tools you can develop?
Yeah.
How do you make these things come true?
Yeah, so great question. So one of our sort of tool sets that we developed is really around inclusive search. And so our mission is to inspire you to live a life that you love. And we want to make sure that everyone is represented on our platform. So we are really focused on inclusion from that perspective. And so over the course of the past few years, we've launched a number of inclusive tools, including the ability for you to search for things via body type, via skin tone, and via hair pattern and texture. In coming up with this inclusive search model, we realized that we needed to make sure we got the language right in allowing our users to be able to search for these things in a positive way. And what we noticed is that our users were coming in with certain search queries, which is really the genesis behind how do we offer a positive yet personalized experience when people are coming onto Pinterest, which is a visual search and discovery platform, to be inspired and to find what they're looking for.
It sounds like a big part of this isn't so much just talking about it or messaging about it, it's building it into the product itself. Can you talk a little bit about that journey, like how that starts, like what it's like, how it's tested with users?
Yes, sure. So as I mentioned, it starts with kind of our users coming onto our platform searching for things, right? And so we are trying to make recommendations based on people's interests. And the interesting thing about coming, on and off our platform is you come on and you're picking up where you left off, right? And we're really responding and recommending a personalized experience. And so we've worked with third parties, we've worked with content creators, kind of in these specific areas of our inclusive search plan to make sure that we are using the right language to, really kind of positively describe people so that when they come onto our platform, they can really find what they're looking for.
And the cues are picked up from the users, which I think is interesting. Like, the interesting thing is, like, people on social media, maybe they don't want to be miserable. Maybe they want to have a better experience. And if you listen to them, you can serve them in a better way.
If you listen to them, you can serve them. And you can also, sort of make sure that as you're using AI, to feed the recommendations, that you're doing that in a positive way. And so we're very proud of kind of how we're using AI and kind of tuning that for positivity.
This is a huge topic. I'm glad you mentioned that. Like, look, I can't do a panel discussion and not talk about AI.
Can't.
Like, I'll be arrested by the Swiss police. So I'm glad you brought it up. A big topic about AI is kind of these unforeseen situations where if maybe they're reinforcing bad things. And so talk a little bit like how you think about AI and how to avoid that kind of trap.
Yeah, well, for us, we're seeing a lot of positive use cases, right? And we are really coming at this from a position of how can we use AI for good? And so we certainly have found that niche with our users, as I described, just in terms of our ability to allow people to search for things in a way that allows us to offer a very personalized recommendation for them. But we're also having traction with our advertisers as well in terms of using AI to help them position their products in a very seamless way with a backdrop that is really kind of consistent with how you might see a couch in a living room versus just a couch on a white background.
Where does moderation fit into all that? That's a big topic on some other
and that is part of my wheelhouse. I have responsibility for trust and safety, and I know that is a very hot topic now. And I'll just start by saying we are not making any changes to our content policy at this time. We are, as I mentioned, very differentiated. You can clap for that, absolutely.
And that essentially means keeping a content policy compared to some other
We are a differentiated platform, right? So we are not like many of the others out there. For example, people do not come to Pinterest to engage in political discourse. We don't allow political ads on our platform. People come to us, again, it's a respite. And it's a very positive place to come and feel good about yourself. And so we are not making any changes. I'll say that again. It's an interesting environment that we find ourselves in.
So let's spin this forward then. Like, what's over the horizon? What's next? What's on your agenda to kind of keep the progress going?
Yeah, well, funny you should ask. So we are going to be announcing today, our CEO is going to be announcing today specifically, that we are going to be the first tech company to be supporting phone-free schools. Yes.
Don't get my kids too happy.
Not school-free. Phone-free schools. Why this is important, how many of you are parents? Okay, great. So phones are a distraction in school. We'll just kind of get to that. And then the other thing that we are doing to go even a step further is we are going to be having a bit of a kind of pop-up on our platform where if, you are a young person who is school-aged, a teen, and you are using your phone during the school day, you will see a pop-up that reminds you that, you're in school, put the phone down, just kind of engage, be where you are in the moment, and then come back to it. We are here for you when kind of the school day's over. So we certainly want to do our part as we think about how do we ensure better youth mental health outcomes. How do we ensure that this next generation is not just kind of stuck to the phone and kind of scrolling? We love them on our platform, but we also want them to kind of
that seems
do
like
what they're
joining in
supposed to do.
partnership with a lot of governments, a lot of parent groups that are doing this exact same thing.
Yes, there is certainly a movement. And again, we want to move beyond just talking about it. We've already done that. And now we're taking action. So you'll look out for our announcement today.
That's great. We're about to get the hook here, but we like to end at Axios on one fun thing and Davos. We end on one Davos thing. This is your first time here on the promenade. Give us your first Davos reactions.
So I want to give a shout out to my amazing team who helped prepare me. They are very experienced in terms of coming to Davos. And what they told me was there's going to be a lot of black ice and you're going to need crampons. And I thought, okay, I don't have crampons. I don't know anything about crampons. But they told me this so far in advance that I went online to buy crampons, as you would. And I realized there were so many different types of crampons. So I bought 8 pairs of crampons, and I have not used them.
It's 45 degrees outside.
The weather has been lovely. So if anyone needs crampons, you can talk to me after this.
Keep 1 pair. Maybe we'll see you again next year. Wanji, thanks so much for being on stage.
Thank you, everyone.
Pinterest for making the conversation possible. I'm going to bring one of my favorite people from Davos, Sarah Fisher, up on stage to keep the conversation going.